She's serving 10 years house arrest for her part in a drug smuggling ring Italian police dubbed the Housewife connection. Kelly was caught with 5 pounds of heroin in her girdle, bound for New York. She said she did it because her family had 15 years of debt. The children needed food, shoes, clothes. Kelly and many other housewife couriers were trained in the Sicilian village of Torretta. It's a place where the Mafia is as much a part of the fabric of society as the church. Young children, grandmothers, anyone can work for the Mafia. It's a town where the government and outsiders are not to be trusted.
I don't know. What should I know? I don't know. I don't want to bother anybody's business. I only care about mine.
Villagers complain there are few jobs. The government can seem to help, and the only effective institution here is the Mafia. The police say the town's simple face is just a mask, that inside many of these houses are modern lifestyles enriched with luxuries like marble baths and all the toys of the video age, all bought with drug money. Torretta is a way station for the heroin trade from Southwest Asia, and now police fear cocaine from South America to Europe.
It's dealing with products. It's heroin for cocaine and vice versa. It could be watches for cigarettes. The smuggling routes are there. They've been established for years.
A police crackdown and a so-called maxi trial of Mafia men was answered with a wave of revenge killings that left more than a dozen bodies strewn across the Sicilian capital. In an unprecedented display of contempt for the government, the Mafia even killed a judge. Such brazen disregard for legal and moral niceties characterizes every aspect of Sicily's Mafia-infested society. All Vincenza Calli regrets is the inconvenience of house arrest. And police concede there are plenty of recruits to replace her in the housewife heroin connection. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Torretta, Sicily.
Back with another drug story, the heroin connection to the government of Laos, a major player in the international trade of heroin. But there is a problem. As NBC's James Polk reports tonight, American efforts to punish the Southeast Asian country are tangled in politics.
In this package is 80 pounds of heroin, worth $50 million on the streets of New York. The Drug Enforcement Administration says the shipment was sent by these two men who claim their secret partner in heroin deals is the communist government of Laos. Early today in Hong Kong, the two accused smugglers began the long journey back in handcuffs to face trial. After landing in Seattle, the men were led back aboard to fly on to New York tonight. Court papers say the DEA was able to tape record the two men in Hong Kong meetings as they talked about their deals with Laos.
They discussed Laotian government official participation in the heroin which we were buying in an undercover capacity. They talked about such things as paying government officials different amounts for the heroin. They talked about government stamp of approval, and they actually talked about getting the heroin from government plants.
Half the heroin smuggled into America is said to come from Asia's Golden Triangle, mainly Burma and Thailand, but now Laos as well. Officials say Laos recently has increased its poppy crop tenfold. For federal prosecutor Andrew Maloney, the involvement of Laos is not a question of ideological politics.
I think the motivation is simple greed.
In a report sent the president in March, the State Department said Laos is a major drug-producing country, but it refused to cut off foreign aid to Laos because of the search for American servicemen still missing from the Vietnam War. The dispute leaves some officials with this question. If the American government is not willing to say an unconditional no to drugs, then who will? James Polk, NBC News, New York.
Police call it the biggest bust in city history, both in size and importance. Wilson Van Alst reports.
Authorities say this heavily fortified apartment in San Francisco was the center of a cocaine operation directly linking San Francisco street dealers with Colombian cocaine suppliers. San Francisco prosecutor Floyd Andrews says principal defendants in the case are a pair of San Francisco men named Bill Anastasio and Bob O'Connor. O'Connor, he says, is a former school teacher. The men allegedly were making multi-million-dollar deals with Colombian cocaine sources in Los Angeles, and only recently had forged direct ties to the so-called Medellin cartel of cocaine suppliers in Colombia itself. When police raided the suspect's apartment in San Francisco, they found 15 kilos of coke and nearly $300,000 in cash. That was just a start. At a pair of San Francisco storage lockers, police say, they recovered much more cocaine and plastic garbage bags stuffed with $1.2 million in cash. The U.S. Attorney for Northern California, Joseph Ursinello, calls the case an eye-opener, resulting from cooperation between federal and local investigators.
As we get these updates, as we get better intelligence, as we're able to use the information from the street officers and put it together with the building of other cases, what we're finding is that there is a lot more of the sort of local angle than we thought before. And for the first time, we're seeing it.
Ursinello says the San Francisco men who ran the international cocaine connection from this apartment now could face sentences of life in prison. Wilson Van Alst, News Center 4.